Welcome back to class in session. We are talking about summary writing, and we are done. We have talked about now the reading part. After now you read, you've written down the main points or the main ideas. Now, before the actual writing of a summary, I've said there are three things that you should know. Let us call them four. The first one is that you should know that a summary should be a paragraph long, only one paragraph. A summary is never two paragraphs. And in the context of English paper 2, a summary is usually a paragraph long. Number 2, it is written in both the present and past tense, depending on how the author has used the tenses. So it is not limited or tied to the tenses, right? Here we are only concerned with the main ideas. So number 3 is that include only the main points. And number 4, you should rephrase what the author has written. That is, utumie maneno yako mwenyewe. Right? Kwa Kiswahili wanasema maneno ya nathali, kama sijakosea. So you should write it in your own words. Now, in as much as you are using your own words, please avoid giving your opinion. Because when you give your opinion, now your summary now changes from being a summary to an essay. Umengam? In the actual writing of your summary, it is good to begin your summary with an introductory sentence. Unaelewana? Ile sentensi ambayo inafungua summary yako. Because sometimes you wonder, okay, fine, sasa nimepata the main ideas. How do I open my summary? How do I begin writing? Because kama ni essay, we know how we begin or we start. Or if you don't know, we are going to talk about that. This is 101 class in session. Tutakuwa tukihandle kila kitu. So, introductory sentence inafaa ikuwe ina include what is written in the title and the name of the author, lakini in your own words. Tumesema if the text you have been given kama imeandikwa, right, na imepewa title pale, so your opening sentence should include that. Let's say for example tuko na a text or a passage ambayo inaongelea kuhusu effects of social media on teenagers. Let's write that down, guys. I'm going to have a better setup next time. Lakini pia remember I've told you that I'm going to give you materials for this. Not really giving, but remember I've told you that in case you need detailed material, I'll be giving my contact after the video. So that you can request, so that you can contact me so to get the detailed notes, questions, and maybe answers. So we are talking about a passage or a text that is talking about effects of social media on teenagers. That is, again, I want you to take note of the content words and how I'm going to write them. That is effects of social media on teenagers. Teenager. That's made from by blending two words. That is teen and age, or ager, teen and ager. So effects of social media on teenagers. Now let's identify the content words. Now let me move aside. I hope you can see how I have written that. So which do you think are the content words? Yes, you are very right. The first one is effects. Congratulations. The second one is social. Kudos. The third one is media. Fantastic. Then the last one is teenagers. Right? So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 words that ambazo zimebeba the message. Hizo ndo tunaita content. Wacha niandike hata capital letters ndo uone. Content words. These are the ones that carry the main message or the main idea of the words, of the passage. Let's say, for example, this particular text or passage has been written by Jeff Jackson. Let's say that is Jeff Jackson, yeah? By Jeff Jackson. So effects of social media on teenagers by Jeff Jackson. So The opening or introductory sentence should read like, in this article, or in his article, Jeff Jackson discusses the impact, or you can say influence, of social media on young people's behavior. I'm going to repeat. In his article, Jeff Jackson discusses or states or elucidates or hints or looks at the impacts or the influence or the consequences or the what? Or the we are having what? The effect or the influence of social media on young people's behavior. So we have said what is in the title, and we also mentioned the author in the introductory sentence, but in our own words. That is how we do it. We can also use so many phrases, like for example, you can say the author, the writer, or the poet, or the reporter says, the writer says, the poet says, the reporter says, the author believes, the reporter believes, the writer believes, the poet believes, or the author suggests, points, claims, states that. Are you seeing that? Another example is youth unemployment in Kenya. Let's say for example, tuko na article imeandikwa hivyo, youth unemployment in Kenya by John Dirango. So you can say that John Dirango examines or looks into the reasons behind the rising joblessness among young people in Kenya. As simple as that. Remember, we are still tuko bado kwa summary writing. Another thing that you're supposed to take into consideration when you're writing now the summary is the word limit. Remember, we said from the definition that a summary is a shortened version of either a text or a poem or article. Excuse me. Kwa hivyo, definitely utakuwa umepatiwa word limit. Alright? Please make sure that you adhere to the word limit, because if you don't, you will be penalized. You are going to lose marks. And remember, in an examination setting, we are all about kuhustle mark. Hata kama ni kamoja, hata kama ni half, tunataka tuiweke kwa pori, au sio? Kwa hivyo, please make sure that you consider or you take into consideration the word limit. Kwa hiyo word limit pia, I'm going to talk about two scenarios for word limit. And this is on terminology, the terms used. In some, the instructions may read like this. In about 50 words, summarize the author's reasons for rural-urban migration. In about 50 words. So in about, that talks about, in about means in approximately. In approximately 50 words. Kwa hivyo, kama hilo swali ambalo utapewa la summary writing, itakuwa umeambiwa in about 50 words, in about 60 words, that means that you have a leeway there. Hapo uko na leeway ya kujibamba. That means in about 50 words, uko na a leeway of either plus or minus 5 words. Kwa hivyo kama umeambiwa in about 50, unaweza tumia 45 words ama unaweza tumia 55 words. So unaweza ongeza 5 kwa zenye umepewa na unaweza punguza 5. That is kama umeambiwa in about, because hiyo ni approximately. But in the event the question tells you in not more than 50 words. Pull up. In the event the question or the instructions tell you that in not more than 50 words. Now that means that you are tied. Umefungwa pale. Right? Hapo hakuna kujibamba, it's 50. Lakini kwa 50 pia unaweza andika, ukiambiwa in not more than 50, that means unaweza andika na less 2 ama 1. Unaweza andika 48 or 49 in not more than. Lakini ukiandika na 51, umeambiwa not more than 50, please don't use more than 50 because you'll be penalized. But you can use less than. Because I have never seen a question that talks about in less than just talks about in about this number of words or in not more than this number of words, you know. So please make sure that you adhere to that. Now, there are some students who are cheeky and think that examiners don't count. Please, we do. Tunahesabu, right? And we can be able to tell. Another thing that learners really avoid doing, and I see it important, is indicating the number of words. After umeandika summary yako, it is always good to pale chini you quote, as I've shown you in this video. Umequote hapo the number of words that you have used, and please be truthful. Be truthful, usidanganye, because it will be bad. And remember, imagine kama umepata question ya summary kwa question 1 ya paper 2, that is comprehension or passage, and then umedanganya, the examiner amekushika, amepata umedanganya the number of words. That person who will be marking your paper, because he's a human being, already ashaform nini, ashaform attitude of that you are a liar. Kwa hivyo akimark paper yako, you know, atakuwa na that kind of attitude. And let's be honest, examiners, teachers are human beings. The same way unatua tunawaambia, just write your examination in legible, tidy, clean, and at least beautiful handwriting, because it appeals to whoever will be marking your paper. It doesn't mean that atakupatia marks za bure, lakini akisoma paper yako, akiangalia paper yako, at least atakuwa na that, you know, that light heart. But what we are saying is that be truthful, don't lie. Now, finally, read through your summary to see that you have captured all the main ideas, all the main points. You have included whatever we have talked about. Remember, we talked about the components or features or characteristics of a good summary. We have said what not to include, where to look, and what to include in your summary. So make sure that you go through, read through your summary to make sure that you've captured all these things and that you have not left out anything importante. Good. So let me take you through a summary of summary writing, right? A summary of summary writing. Unaona hiyo everything that tumesoma, we can write a summary of that. And that summary reads like this. Summary writing involves expressing the main ideas in a text in a shorter form using your own words. Pull up selector. Sema, I should read like this. Summary writing involves expressing the main ideas of a text in a shorter form using your own words. It excludes examples, opinions, and details. A good summary is brief, clear, concise, and to the point. Key steps in summary writing include identifying main points, avoiding repetition, and writing within a given word limit. That is everything we have talked about. So guys, thank you very much for being here. This was our first episode of Class in Session. That is 101 Class in Session. And remember, this is where we teach and learn English in a fun and different way. So make sure guys that you like the video, comment, share, follow us on TikTok. Remember, that is our classroom 101 Class in Session. We use whichever language, whichever means that you best understand to make sure that you best understand what it is that we want you to understand. Remember, in as much as I'm using the language that you best understand to make sure that you understand the point that I'm trying to put across, language is learned through 4 ways. That is reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Make sure that you follow all those 4 rules. Make sure that you speak the language, practice, make sure you do a lot of reading, make sure you do a lot of writing. For exercises or marking schemes, you can contact me. The contact information is up in a video. Make sure that you reach out. If there's any area that you would like us to improve on, make sure that we grow together. Kama kuna topic ungetaka niangalie, kama kuna topic ungetaka we go through, make sure that you contact me for the contact information ambayo nimepeana hapo. So I've been your host. My name is Jesse. I love English. I love music. Thank you for being here. This has been 101 Class in Session. See you next lesson. Tin, tin, tin. Tin, 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 tin. to just